There are three huge mistakes that people make when they buy a home in Pinecrest. My name is Amit Bhuta. I work for Compass. I'm a real estate agent. I've been doing this for 16 years. I live in Pinecrest for many years, and I've been an agent for 16 years, lived in South Florida for 47 years. The reason I'm telling you this is to share with you the information that I'm giving you is probably going to save you hundreds of thousands of dollars in potential mistakes, or even prevent you, hopefully save you from buying the wrong home. This information has been got from experience, also from previous buyers, from their mistakes in the past, and previous sellers even. They've told me about homes that they bought, stuff that they wish they knew. So with that said, let me get to the list. So number one on the list is people don't know Pinecrest as well as they should when they're buying a home. So for example, for those of you that don't know Pinecrest that well, Pinecrest is from Southwest 88th Street, Kendall Drive, to Southwest 136th Street, which is, if you don't know Miami that well, every 16 streets is 1 mile. So you have 3 miles going from north to south. Then Pinecrest is also from US 1, South Dixie Highway, all the way east until Southwest 57th Avenue or Red Road. So it's just in general, Pinecrest is roughly, last time they did the data for Pinecrest, there are roughly 20,000 people or so that live in Pinecrest. So the number one mistake is when someone is buying, they may look at Pinecrest and look at the price per square foot in Pinecrest and then use that for any home that they look at Pinecrest. And that's a huge mistake because there are areas in Pinecrest, North Pinecrest. So North Pinecrest, I would say, give or take, is from like 104th Street, 112th Street, north until 88th Street, Kendall Drive. If you go to South Pinecrest, and for me, South Pinecrest is like roughly like 124th Street, south until the boundary of Southwest 136th Street. So to give you an example, if you see a property on Southwest, and also just to let you know, besides north and south, what also determines the value in Pinecrest is east to west. So if someone is on 57th Avenue compared to South Dixie Highway, which depending on where in Pinecrest, it could be from lower 70s Avenue, like 72, 73, something like that, or maybe even before, maybe in the 60s, compared to like some places where it's like higher 70s. So with that said, let me give you an example. So a property in Northeast Pinecrest. So I'll give you, so an example would be like, say, 91st Street and 63rd Avenue. If we compare that property to a property on Southwest 135th Street and like 78th Avenue, those values are going to be so different in value. So that property on 135th Street, it depends on the square footage and everything else, but just a piece of land on like 135th Street and 78th Avenue compared to like 91st Street and 60-something Avenue, that property, South Pinecrest, like on the 135th Street, could be worth half of what that other property is worth. So what happens is, when someone is buying a house, especially for those people, I had a customer the other day that was looking for land, and they were thinking about buying a piece of land that was quite a bit cheaper in South Pinecrest. The big problem with that is it's going to cost the same to make the house. So if you build a house on land that you can afford, that's in a better area of Pinecrest, it's going to exponentially help you in the value of the home if you ever have to sell it. So knowing the difference between North Pinecrest, South Pinecrest, knowing the values is very, very important. And it's sort of hard unless you ask, someone that's lived in Pinecrest or a real estate expert that does business in that area. Make sure you know about that before you purchase a home, because that could be a huge difference. I've seen people that bought properties in South Pinecrest that the value should have been the value in North Pinecrest. So it's a huge difference. And one of the reasons why the value is so much higher in North Pinecrest is because they have a school called Pinecrest Elementary. Although all the schools in Pinecrest are good, the one Pinecrest Elementary is a very, very nationwide known property, nationwide known school. I'm sorry, not property, but school. And people from all over the country call me and they tell me they want to get a home where Pinecrest Elementary is within the boundaries. So knowing that is crucial. So that's number one. So number two is basically believing the square footage on the advertisements of properties. I've noticed a lot that many real estate agents will put the wrong square footage of the home in Pinecrest. And I don't know if it's done on purpose or they just made a mistake. Either way, it doesn't matter. Because if you're buying a house and the square footage is off and each square foot costs, I don't know, from $200-$300 to $1,000, having 1 square foot off is a huge difference. So you should always match up the tax records of the property, like living area square footage, with the actual one that you see advertised. Because a lot of people, if they're from out of town, if they're from New York or other areas, Chicago, other areas where they look at price per square footage a little bit more than they do in South Florida, where they just know it off the top of their head. They'll look at a piece of land or a piece of property, and they will look at that property and they'll be significantly wrong with their valuation, because I've seen square footages, and this is crazy, but I've seen homes that were advertised as like 11,000 square feet homes, and they're actually 7,000 square feet. So you need to worry about that. Not worry about it, but you need to check on it. Make sure you ask an expert what the real square footage is, the living area. And also, to go with that, since homes are so different in Pinecrest, you have older homes, newer homes, and multiple, homes in the middle, some that need updating, some that need no updating, some that need to be torn down. With that, once you start doing price per square foot, it's sort of, unless you're comparing apples to apples, it doesn't really mean anything. So again, have an expert help you with that. So the last thing, the number 3 huge mistake that people make is not having a good inspector on a home, and also checking, and that's sort of basic, but I want to get into that a little bit more. So with that said, a lot of homes, like I just mentioned, are older in Pinecrest, or they were smaller and people added to them. They added additions, or they've done work on the home. Make sure, and I can't stress this enough. I mean, I was showing a home the other day. It was like 1.8 million. It had a brand new roof, but the person did the roof without a permit. They wanted to save a few bucks, and they did the roof without a permit. And Pinecrest is good at finding out what needs to be done with homes where permits aren't done. And I say that not that Pinecrest is bad. I say that in a good way, because they make sure properties they're safe, and other things about the property are safe. So it definitely helps. So there's a lot of work that's done without permits. And I'm not saying like the basic little stuff, like if you change, I don't know, like if you have to put I'm not even going to give you an example, because there's so many little examples and I don't want to scare you with that. But at the end of the day, if there's some work done in the house, some structural work, and you don't know about it, it could really hurt your property value. So I'll give you an example. There's this property that I was showing. This property had an addition. It looked legitimate. So you had the main house, and then you had like a separate garage. It was a tandem garage where you park one car in first and the other car in second after that, one in front of the other. And it looked fine. There was a room in there. It looked really nice. It looked completely updated, and it looked like the person took really good care to do it. But what turned out is that that was an illegal addition. The garage was okay, but since they added this other stuff, it was an illegal addition. And then there were some other issues with that. And basically, the person buying that property would have to tear it down. So there are things that can happen with properties, especially in Pinecrest, Coral Gables, Coconut Grove, where things aren't done legitimately, where you need to have it checked. So hopefully this helps you in the future if you're buying a home in Pinecrest or any other areas. Feel free to reach out to me, and I can do the due diligence for you or get you in touch with the people to help you. And hopefully this helps. If you need any help, you could always reach out to me on our website, which is allinmiami.com. That's allinmiami.com, or just scroll down to the description of this video. Thanks so much and have a great day.